When it comes to mastering weapons or fighting styles or guns in Blox Fruit, it's not walk in the park. The grind for mastery can feel endless, especially now with the introduction of the new Draco Race V4. This race demands a whopping 500 mastery each on the Dragonheart Sword, Dragonstorm Gun, and Dragon Talon. That's a lot. The real question is, how can we realistically hit those mastery requirements without losing our sanity? I mean, let's be real. Most methods feel like they take forever, but don't worry, I have tested a ton of methods to figure out the fastest and most efficient way to gain mastery. And today I am going to share the absolute best strategy for you. The best part, this method doesn't involve spending Robux to spawn bosses like Longma or Cake Queen over and over again. Nope, this is a free method that works even if you don't have a private server. But before I dive into the details, let's talk about why other popular methods don't quite cut it. The problem with common methods, a lot of players rely on server hopping and hunting down bosses. Maybe you have tried this yourself, jumping from server to server, hoping that Longma or Cake Queen or some other boss is spawned and ready to fight. Sure, it can work, but let's face it, it's exhausting. First off, there is no guarantee you will even find a boss in every server you join. Most of the time, they're already defeated. And let's not forget the frustration of dealing with other players who are trying to steal the kills too. So that kinda gets annoying, and they also try to kill you too. Bosses take a while to respawn, and in public servers, you are not the only one grinding for mastery. Keep that in mind, because there will be a lot of other players or maybe some quest grinders who will just do the quest for the EXP, for their levels. Then there is the idea of rejoining the private servers to reset the boss's timers. Unfortunately, Blox Fruit has mechanics in place to stop this. Bosses have a set cooldown before they can spawn, even if you leave and rejoin a server. So what's the point of wasting time on methods that are based on purely on luck? If you have tried all this and still struggled to gain mastery quickly, you're not alone, but don't worry, there is a much better way, and it's all about using the right strategy in the right location. Now let's talk about the best way to gain mastery, one that doesn't rely on luck or Robux. This method involves using Cyborg Race V4 and grinding NPCs on this island, the Coco Island. And yeah, it's better than the bosses respawning thing. I guarantee you that, because I know I've tried that and I've tried this. To my surprise, I was shocked to see this. The results for this is actually a lot better than what I thought they would be, because I thought bosses would give more. But I will explain how I gain mastery here in a bit. But before we dive in to the exact relation, why Coco Island? The NPCs here are the perfect balance. They're strong enough to give you a decent amount of mastery per kill, but not so strong that they're impossible to farm efficiently. Plus, the respawn is fairly quickly, which means you can create a smooth rotation and keep farming non-stop. But before we dive into the exact rotation, let's talk about why Cyborg V4 is such a game changer for this method. Cyborg V4 special abilities include reduce damage taken, faster energy recovery, and an aura that deals passive damage to the nearby enemies. These perks make the farming much faster, safer, and especially if you're dealing with large group of enemies at once. But before you make your way to this island, there are some things that you need to do. Get Cyborg V4 Race. If you don't already have it, focus on unlocking and upgrading it first. Trust me, the benefits are worth it. And then there is the thing about stats. A lot of people talk about what stat I should do like when I'm grinding here. Well, to me, it doesn't matter. What matters though is that your health and your stamina should be good, which means you're going to put melee and defense to max all the way up. But if you want to grind for gun or sword, it doesn't matter. I don't really switch. People say like switch to sword stats, switch to gun stats. Yeah, okay. But what if you don't have frags? What then? It's okay. You don't have to put your stats on sword or gun, because the method I rely on, I don't really have to switch stats to sword on my gun, because I always use V4 and it never runs out because of the rotation I'm gonna show you guys. And the thing is, you can just get V4 by your melee and use Buddha. You can use that with melee. So the method I rely on is to get melee defense max and whatever I want, whatever I'm doing PvP with. Like for example, I'm doing sword stat PvP, then I'm gonna keep it that way, even if I have to grab Blox Fruit mastery, even if I have to grind gun mastery, I'm not gonna change my stats. The reason being is that when I use Buddha Fruit and I use melee to start grinding here, I rotate this way. Is it clockwise? I guess it is clockwise. Yeah. So start from here. Let me just equip my Buddha Fruit and show you guys how exactly I do it. And the rotation, before you come back to this spot, you should already have V4. Let me equip Buddha Fruit and show you guys the exact rotation that I do. The first step is that you would want to start at this point. Yep, this is the perfect spot, and start here. After you have collected these set of NPCs, then you're good to go. You don't need to collect those NPCs. A lot of people say, yeah, collect those too because they are better and give you like collective amount of EXP and stuff. I've tested that too. It doesn't matter. The timer is same. The respawn point and everything else is just the same. It's not gonna affect you to gain a lot more mastery. Exactly the same, because it's pain to gather these. So it's better to do them separately because it's easier for you. And then this right over here, this is the first half of the island, then this is the second half. First half also has 2 spawn points. The second half also has 2 spawn points. First is there, but they're a bit far apart, so you might have to travel. But with V4 you can just make the jump. And don't worry if the glitch doesn't work, the Buddha glitch, because you don't need the Buddha glitch for this. Like, you can just use Buddha Fruit. See, now I have my awakening. I'm gonna awaken and start the grind here. It's that simple. Go back here. Now this is what I do when I'm here. I use Cyborg V4 only on this place, and by the time I'm here, it's back on again. So that's where I use my Cyborg V4 to make it a bit faster. Though it's not gonna change like a lot of things, because the respawn is exactly when you make it to that point. Like, so it's like perfect for your mastery gain. It's really simple. Now I will make my way to this. See how my V4 is like going down but coming back up? It's because I'm using like Cyborg V4 and killing all these NPCs. So it's the meter is not going down. It's never gonna go down. Like, as long as I have like the grinding rotation on, it's never going to finish my V4. It never happened to me. Look, it's back to full again. I could have used V3 to make it a bit faster, but I don't really have to. It's just when I feel like, yeah, I need to be more efficient and I need to pay more attention, then I use it. But not really. Realistically, you don't really need to. It's just maybe 1 second or 2 seconds faster. Yep, that's the complete rotation. Now with the V4 on, even if you don't have any stats on your gun is still gonna do a ton of damage. If your sword has no stats, it's still gonna do a ton of damage. So don't even worry about it. You're still gonna gain mastery on the things that you don't put your stats on, because the damage from V4 is a lot, because you get max stats on everything. By sticking to this rotation, you will avoid downtime and keep farming mastery efficiently. Plus, since NPCs don't have a long respawn timer like bosses, you will always have something to fight. Now here's few extra tips than like methods that I would recommend you to use. Like, for example, there are some stuff that you should avoid using, and there are some stuff that you should use. For example, always try to use skills that have AoE. If you want to use skills, then only rely on those skills that have AoE attack. Don't rely on the moves that make you stun. Like for example, don't try to do the Yeti F move or maybe the Yeti C move. I faced that problem when I was using Yeti. I used Yeti C and Yeti F, and that was kind of bad move on my part because that made me lose my bounty and my V4 when I was grinding. Though I have it on max mastery now, but that was a lesson hard learned. There are other fruits too that have like skills similar to those that make you stun and you can't really use it. Another most important tip that I'm gonna give you is take breaks to avoid burnout. For example, if you have this thing on max mastery, that's it, you're good to go. Take 1 hour break, 2 hour break, and then get this thing to max mastery or 500 mastery, which is the requirement. But as you know, I am a perfectionist, so I like to keep things at max mastery, even though it's not that much of a difference, or maybe it is. Some people say it's not that much of a difference. To me, it's a decent enough satisfaction that I'd keep it at max mastery, even though the damage buff is, I think, like 300 and 400 stats, so it's not that much, but for a low level player, it is a lot. And that's it, folks. Mastery grinding in Blox Fruits doesn't have to be frustrating, time-consuming process. By using this method on Coco Island with Cyborg V4 race, you can farm mastery efficiently without spending a single Robux. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more tips and tricks. Let me know in the comments how this method worked for you, and if you have your own mastery grinding strategies, do share, please. I would love to try them. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and bye-bye.